me too. It's like the end of these days are so crazy.
Yeah. All right. If everything was working, man, the cell network here is just really struggling right now. Okay, we are live.
Cool.
Cool. So, hi, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I am here with Bram.
Bram. Yeah.
Totally forgot your name. I'm sorry.
Bram Kinchelo. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are doing a live demo, hopefully, of this Motion Ray. Cannot believe that. Okay. I think this is going to come back in a second for yeah. Okay. Of all of the things to have happened, what just happened?
Can I swear on here? The expletive battery pack finally died. I thought I had half of it. It was working really well, and then the actual battery died. It wasn't the Motion Ray box. I just want to say that for the record. It's just been one of those days, but yeah, good job. So what do you want to do? You want to relocate and do it again? Plug this into the wall?
We could plug it into the wall. So yeah, what we were trying to do was streaming from that network connection, which is how the stream started, and it was working, and then the battery just died, so the whole thing shut off. So I'm back to my LTE SIM on the Yola box. So we can go put you on pause for a second, wander out into the hallway,
out there,
and grab a plug from the wall and plug this thing back in and give it another shot. So
sorry.
Hold, please, and we will be back. Let me turn that back off. We're going to be back shortly, and I'm going to put up. I'm going to put a little countdown timer up on the from the Yola box. So we're going to go and set the Be Right Back. I don't think it's going to take 10 minutes. I think it's going to be 4.
There we go.
And put that on the screen.
I'm going to go get this started to set up.
All right. And I'm going to... I think I got it.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, take that cord. That way I don't have to have a tail.
Go get set up in the hallway.
Okay.
At least it wasn't my unit. That's all I have to say about it.
We will be back. We will be back. So close. Okay. So here we go. We are back. Okay. So let's what happened?
It's worth explaining. Yeah. I mean, the battery died is pretty much what happened. We were in a nice little spot, and we started pushing out the feed. And obviously, the last thing you want to have happen when you're doing a bonded internet demo is to have the bonded part die, which luckily that didn't. It was just the battery died, because I've been walking around doing demos and doing live streaming all day for about 8 hours now off a single battery power, which is cool, but also it lied to me. It said it had half, and it was straight up lying. So I apologize, but it's the battery's fault.
So we are back. We found a spot with an outlet down here, so everything is all hardwired in now and running, and somehow there is decent cell coverage in here. So even my phone tethering for my laptop is doing better. And yeah, so let's talk about what this actually is.
Back to the beginning.
Back to the beginning. So you've got this little bonding modem situation here with a whole bunch of antennas, and its job is to aggregate the connection of a bunch of cell plans into one, right?
Yep. So what we have is we have a multi-router that has a Verizon SIM, a T-Mobile SIM, and an AT&T SIM, and then we bond them all together at the same time. So the great thing about that is that you don't have to have any other software to do it. It's just a straight connectivity, like a networking as a solution. And you don't have to have any contracts with AT&T or T-Mobile or Verizon. We're sourcing all the data, and then so all you do is you just literally plug in your thing, and assuming that you have a solid power source, it works. And then it just pushes all your data out. Again, we're in the middle of a giant convention center, and I've been traditionally getting about 60 down and 50 up pretty much everywhere inside of here, with 20,000 people and a bunch of metal and concrete and what have you. The other great thing about it, too, is that we just trust you guys to do the bonding. We ourselves, obviously, are not the bonding, the encoding. We're just worrying about the connectivity and not the actual encoding, and we just, like, you can do what you want with it. So, for example, you could take it and use it as just connectivity solution at your stand here, or you could take it out and do remote production and just have it with the rest of your gear. Obviously, we work in a bunch of different industries other than just this one as well.
Well, and that was what caught my eye about this, is that I don't have to go and buy cell SIMs. So what I've done for this event myself is I went out and got a T-Mobile prepaid SIM and spent $50 on that or whatever it is for the month. I'm going to cancel it later, and that's one SIM. And then I also have my phone's Mint Mobile connection, which is in my phone. So I have those two separate connections, and I am dealing with all those contracts, right? I had to deal with signing up for. I also did AT&T, but theirs sucks. Yeah. So, but yeah, so this. You're not. I don't bring SIMs into this. No. You're providing it as a full solution. So I would rent the modem, which comes with the SIM cards and the plans, and then it just plug it in and it works, right?
Yeah, again with power. So it's networking as a solution, obviously, or as a service basically. And that's the great thing, is that you don't have to worry about having contracts. Even again in other industries, we work, for example, with hotels, and let's say they have 30, 40 different locations. They never have to worry about, oh, does Verizon work in this area? Does AT&T work in this area? We're leveraging all of the 3 major networks in the entire country at the same time, just as part of the service. And the other thing I will say too is that we are provider agnostic. It doesn't matter to us where it's coming from. So we could take anything. We can take Starlink. We can take it in as Ethernet. We can bond that together. So there's a WAN port in on the box, which would also give you 4 different things that are bonding together if you have Ethernet in any capacity, or your home internet. Let's say that you're working at home and you have an important video that you need to push out, that you need to make sure it doesn't go offline, and you're worried that for me it's Spectrum, I don't know what you have at home, but your broadband might drop in a storm or whatever. You would have those cellular networks as a backup, basically, to be able to then push it out no matter what.
That's super cool. It makes a lot of sense. Let me, can you hold this one?
Yeah, of course.
I want to see what's going on in the chat. See if there's any questions here. Also, ironically, something is wrong with my computer at home, and I can't show the chat messages on the screen right now. Not related. Totally, it just stopped working. So I'm gonna have to. I
did say that we're really good for each other from a just luck standpoint.
Yeah.
Things break around us.
So I can't show the messages on the screen, unfortunately, but I can still index them. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the questions here. I've got them on the screen. We're back. Yeah, huge sound delay. Oh, so the delay that you're seeing is because I'm running the microphone into this camera, which was probably the wrong choice for this stream, but that's in case here, you can just point it at me. it should be in sync with this. So now we've got the side lighting, whatever, but it should be in sync with this because this is audio receiver running into that camera, which is then wireless HDMI to that. And I did that because the last time I did this the other way around, then I walked around carrying that camera and I was out of sync. So, so we are out of sync with this one, unfortunately. And then, okay, so 8 hours for the battery pack is an accomplishment. True.
It was wishful thinking, it turns out.
Yeah. Okay, so what is the price point? Yeah, people are asking about the price.
Totally. So for the streaming unit, for kind of what you guys and obviously the people who are involved in NAB and different things, it starts at $100 a month for the service itself. That itself is if you get for an annual plan and for multiple units. Typically, the price point that people enter into is $120 a month. You can take this if you want. You only have like a few hands here. I'll hold this. I'll interview you. $120 a month for the annual plan. It goes up to, and this is all, you know, starting to change as well. And we're just kind of entering into the market and figuring out what makes sense. But again, the great thing is that you're not paying for data that you don't use. You only pay for the data that you actually use. And we never upcharge for data at all. So you don't have to pay $400, $500, $600 a month just for a data package that you're never going to use all of it. That is unlimited, but again, that expenses just come out of your pocket. Data right now, we're sourcing it. It's $7.68 a gigabyte. Right now, that's going to drop. But again, if you don't use any of it, you don't have to pay for any of it. So you could just use it on specific projects and let it sit for a month or two, and you wouldn't be on the hook for that.
Is this Peplink equipment?
It's not Peplink equipment. The big difference with us is that we're not charging you for the router. It just comes as part of the subscription service. And so again, as opposed to Peplink, where you pay minimum, I don't know, $1,500 up to $36,000 or whatever the most expensive gear is going to be, you don't have to buy the router. So the router comes as part of the service itself, which again, you're just paying for access to our tech team, for port forwarding, for any sort of like SRT or UDP, you know, I mean, a lot of like, you know, BirdDog was running tests using this, which I think is actually where we met. Was at the? Yeah. Oh no, yeah. BirdDog has been running tests on this, and everything just worked perfectly out of the box, which is awesome. Like, you know, you don't have to worry about any sort of like specific encoding, and especially with all the SRT that most cameras are using, anyways, it's just all you need is data connectivity, and you're good to go.
Okay. Another question: is it U.S. only, and where does it get combined on the other end?
So, two very good questions. It's not U.S. only because we're provider agnostic. It can be used anywhere, and we are an international company already. We have clients in Europe and Eastern Europe, and we've been talking. I was just talking to a couple guys in Jamaica. We're not in Jamaica yet, although would love to set that up. But again, we can provide any or combine any providers. So right now, we're using Verizon and AT&T and T-Mobile because those are the three main providers in the U.S. Obviously, in other countries that we go to, we use those providers, and we put those SIMs in. And then the second part of your question, we're aggregating and summing on the AWS server. But we can also sum anywhere. So we're both provider agnostic and also server agnostic. We can sum on Google Cloud, or we can sum on physical servers that you have if you built out your own website and you're hosting it or whatever. So again, we can set it up to sum anywhere. Right now, this is set to have those specific SIMs for the US market, although it could be anything, and it's summing on, we're doing the actual bonding on AWS.
That's awesome. Okay. Do you have day rentals?
We're trying not to do day rentals for just the obvious reason that, like, we just don't want to do it. It's a giant logistical pain in the behind. But, I mean, I will if you want to pay us, like, $1,000 or something. But, no, like, more realistically, the way that we do it, the minimum rental is for a month, and right now that's $200 a month.
So for the no contract style and, like, no annual commitment?
Yeah, so the short is a month.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't want to turn into a rental company. That's not the sort of, that's just not what we want to do. We want to, like, basically, we want to ship it to you. We want it to work so well that you like, man, I need this all the time. And then on top of that, it's at a price point where it's like, you know what? I could probably get rid of a bunch of other gear and just keep this around for the limited amount of times that all I need is connectivity, and then I'm good to go. You know what I mean?
What is the name again?
So the name of the company is MotionRay. And the name of the gear itself is Mr. Net, as in Motion Ray Network. So MRNET. If you want to visit us, the website is mrnet.us, mrnet.us. Yeah.
I think I put a link. I think I put a link in the description. If not, I will add it later. There we go. Thanks, autofocus.
There's my cell phone number if anybody wants to hit me up with any further questions.
I love the old school, the very low-tech graphics overlay technique there.
That's how they used to do it in the 50s, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. So Frank is mentioning that I can feature the comments on the stream with the YOLO box, which would be true if I were streaming from the YOLO box to YouTube, but I am not. I'm streaming from the YOLO box into my studio, and then my studio is streaming to YouTube. So the YOLO box doesn't actually know about the YouTube stream. So if I go and look at the platforms it's streaming to, you can see my YouTube is not turned on, and it is just my studio. So that is why I can't show the comments, because they are not on the. They're not coming in. It's not coming into the YOLO box. The YOLO box doesn't know about the YouTube stream at all in this case, which is silly right now because I was not able to show the comments anyway, which is the whole point of doing that system into my studio. So that was silly. But also, what it did let us do is I should have had a better fallback for this. I need to figure out a better automatic failover for this. But if the YOLO box stops streaming, like when I went to switch it from the SIM card to the Ethernet right when that countdown timer ran out, what happens is the feed from the YOLO box drops into my studio. The ATEM is still on that input, so you see a black screen, but it is video being pushed out that's just a black frame. And what I should do is figure out a way to have that fail over to a picture, or even better, a moving picture of some sort. It says, like, signal lost, coming back soon. That way, if the feed drops from this remote site, at least YouTube is still showing something that we're live. So that is something I'm going to be working on, and I will be back in my studio next week, which means maybe we can try some of that out live and mess around with it. So yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for showing us this. So far, this has been holding up great now. I see no drop frames on the YOLO box. Looks like no one's commenting that that everything is falling apart. So yeah, that's always good.
Again, apologies for the battery. It's like the one, you get everything else, you build this whole amazing system for like failover and redundancy, and we have robustness via redundancy, we're going to change the world, and et cetera, and then the battery fails. So.
Yeah, that was just it's like an external battery pack plugged in with a DC barrel jack.
Also, the next generation of this, the second generation build, is going to be half as big, and there is going to be hopefully an internal battery, so that'll be part of it as well. So we're still figuring out a lot of this stuff. Any and all suggestions are definitely taken into account. Like I said, we're coming into the video streaming market just because there is an understanding of cellular bonding just to begin with. Obviously, there have been people doing it for a certain amount of time already, but those same companies, there's not really any appetite or interest potentially in like pursuing all of the other markets that we're doing as well, which is like basically ensuring that people have robust, guaranteed internet in every part of the country and world, hopefully eventually, and creating like a more equitable access to the internet. While also, like, why do we still have dead zones in 2022? You know what I mean? Like, why do you have a phone, you're connected to Verizon and Verizon only, and when Verizon dies, like, you can't make a call? Like, we should just be able to access everything at the same time, which is why I say that we're provider agnostic, and that's what we're doing. We're just giving you access to all the radio frequencies and letting you do with it what you will.
Yeah. Oh, there's another question. How heavy is it?
It's like a pound. It's really light. It's heavier with a battery pack, obviously, but it's about a pound.
And this is the current gen. You said you're going to work on a smaller form factor.
That'll be even lighter, obviously. Yeah. Not that much lighter. About half the space in there is empty space. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for that. It was a lot of fun. So, yeah, I'm going to try to wrap this up like I normally do. So, thanks, everybody, for joining. And we will see you back on my channel tomorrow. I have actually a plan to do a live stream from the Epiphan booth. We're going to be streaming from their system, so we're going to still be using their cell networks, but we will stream from the booth using Perl encoders into their cloud. Their cloud will go to my studio probably, or maybe just right to my YouTube channel. But yeah, we'll check it out tomorrow. So that video is already posted, so click the little remind me button, and yeah, with that, I guess we will wrap it up there. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you later.
MrNet.us. Thanks, guys.